Greetings, CATDC. We are midway through Black History Month, and just as we encourage you to celebrate Black excellence and joy all year round, we believe that equity and anti-racism should be ingrained into all aspects of our work in schools. So we're delighted to have Tesha McCord Poe with us today, who will be leading Equity and Empathy, Critical Keys for Fundraising Success in April. While Tesha is a new facilitator for CATDC, and we're delighted about this, she is well known for her leadership in independent schools, having spent over 10 years working as a senior administrator at Hillbrook School, Castellea, and Girls Middle School, and as CEO and founder of Joy Raising. Welcome, Tesha. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. I've been looking forward to this conversation.
That's great. Can you tell us more about Joy Raising and the work you are doing now with independent schools and beyond?
Absolutely. I'm always really happy to talk about Joy Raising. So we are a fundraising and diversity, equity, inclusion consultancy that has hard conversations about money and race to help organizations better meet their mission. And we do that in a variety of ways. We do one-on-one executive coaching, we do discrete projects for folks, and we also are doing some exciting things where we're bringing people from different organizations together. So there's a series called The Relaunch, where we really focus on anti-racist practices in fundraising, as well as an affinity space for BIPOC professionals in philanthropy that we call The Space, where we meet and talk about the particular issues and opportunities that we have, and really are trying to build a community around that identity.
I think I saw that being put out there on Twitter, and I was so intrigued. And it just seems like the work you're doing is so beautifully timed for the work that schools are doing, and really recognizing that they need to be doing at this point. So maybe this leads naturally to this next question, but why this workshop? Why now? What inspired you to bring this to the CATDC community?
Sure. And, it's interesting that it feels well timed, but I have spent most of my life in independent schools. So I was K-12 independent school student. And then I've spent, more than a decade as a professional in independent schools and as a parent who's recently graduated an independent school student. And so, and my father was an independent school administrator. And so I can't avoid this community if I wanted to. And I've been so enriched by it. And as, a person of color, as a Black woman who has spent so much time in these communities, the idea of this workshop and the timing of this workshop is not around my readiness for the conversation, but the availability to have it with so many people at this point. And so I am thrilled to be partnering with CATDC. I've been, a beneficiary of having participated in several of your programs. And so it is a pinch me kind of moment to be able to lead this conversation in particular right now. And so the thing is, I do feel like my colleagues in development really have found themselves in the past year with the expectation that things that they may have thought about when it comes to equity and inclusion, they didn't have to think about before, and now they're being asked to really lead on these issues. And so part of what I'm trying to do is partner with people where they are to help them understand how they can do better as they recognize opportunities to do so.
That's great. And I know that working in a development office can feel very isolating at times. So coming together in community like this is the first time we've offered a program like this with CATDC. And so we're delighted to be reaching this different, constituency. So tell me about what you hope are the key takeaways for folks.
Yeah. And, I am happy to share that. I do want to just comment on what you just said, which is that I think what we're finding is that the Development Advancement Office really can be a partner and a leader as schools try to respond to this moment, because we are caretakers of the community in certain ways. We help to bring community together. And so my hope is that we will step into that leadership and partner with schools to bring about some change. And so what I'm hoping for in terms of takeaways for participants is that there are a couple of things, and I'll just touch on a few, is that that your response right now should be rooted in your values. If your values do not support the idea of being inclusive or equitable or diverse, we can't manufacture that. But what I think is that our values pretty naturally lend themselves to these issues, and we may not have focused on them specifically, or we may not have prioritized them, but really let's root ourselves in our values. It's more efficient, it'll be more authentic, and I think that's where we start. The second thing is that you can lead without mastery. So I mentioned that, I have colleagues who find themselves needing to make statements or lead, discussions or be responsive to these issues, and really, have shared with me sometimes in confidence, I don't feel prepared to do this. And my response is, you don't have to master it before you start to lead. What you do need to do is you do need to do work. You do need to learn more. You need to be reflective, but you also need to be transparent and authentic about where you are. So if you say, you can have conversations with people in your community and say, here's what I'm reading, here's what I've learned, here's what I still need to know. And being willing to lean in and do that is actually what I think is what's most important. So we will talk about that. And then there are things that you can do right now. So I think sometimes we're waiting, when we talk about, hiring and things like all these things that we want to do around this issue, we sometimes are waiting for something else before we can make real change. And I just really want to share with people that there are things you can do right now that are going to help move the needle. And then finally, that your success is really going to come through collaboration and community. So if you look for ways to find the resources that are already in your community, those people that are already there, the low-hanging fruit, the people who want to be in partnership around this, that's really important. So I hope that those are just a few of the things that people will take away, and I hope that there'll be much more.
Thank you, Tesha. It sounds like a wonderful program, and I know the work that you do, beyond this program is so important today and, throughout time, really. And, in thinking about what you said in terms of collaboration and community, equity, empathy, collaboration, and community, these are core values of the CATDC. So I feel like this is just a wonderful collaboration in and of itself, having you with us. So thank you again, Tesha, for your time. And thank you all of CATDC for your engagement with us. I hope to see you at Tesha's workshop coming up, one of our other upcoming programs, or NAIS is next week. So maybe I'll see you at a workshop there. Goodbye to all of you and take good care. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.